Hi, my name is Amanda,
And I'm Kristen.
and welcome to our project Growing Up ABC.
So you're probably wondering, what does ABC stand for? Well, ABC stands for American Born Chinese and is an umbrella term often used by Chinese people in North America. Both Amanda and myself identify as ABCs, and our shared identity and life experiences are what inspired us to create this media project. The project consists of a three-part YouTube series, an Instagram page, as well as an academic paper. We will be summarizing key points from our project for you today.
Growing up as ABCs meant we had a very unique experience with the media. We had no interest or connection to Chinese media because we were unable to understand the language, but also felt that North American media failed to produce content with people that looked like us and had the same experiences as us. This exclusion of Asian representation in North American media was the main reason that we felt compelled to create our project on the ABC experience with Western media.
To give some background on myself, I am a third generation Canadian, which means that both of my parents were born and raised in Canada. My family's native language is Cantonese, but unfortunately, I cannot speak it as my parents were only capable of speaking it minimally.
I'm the second generation Canadian, meaning my mom immigrated to Canada and my dad was born in Canada. Since my mom was born in Hong Kong, she can speak basic Cantonese to her parents, but since my dad was born here, he isn't able to speak his native language.
Looking at the media and reflecting on our personal experiences with Western media growing up, as in the present, we reflected on how there was not enough media representing Asian communities as well as the ABC experience.
We created Grown Up ABC with the mission statement to create a safe space for people to share their experiences as Asians and to use our platform to raise awareness about the importance of Asian representation in media. By sharing this project with you all today, we hope that it will open up discussion about the ABC experience, and through our platform at ABC, we hope to create spaces where people can share stories and amplify Asian and other underrepresented voices.
So, why does our project matter in the current political and social landscape? Well, racism against Asian people as a whole is at an all time high because of racist ideologies surrounding COVID-19 and its origins. Not only are we not seen in mainstream Western media, but violence against our bodies is often ignored by news outlets and other media.
Important to see where this is situated as well. In the light of the pandemic that we're facing, East Asians have been increasingly targeted with racist attacks and slurs. We even have the former US president referring to COVID 19 as China virus or the Kung flu. The lack of authentic Asian representation in the media is dangerous since it perpetuates racism and violence towards Asians and actually works to normalize this. By working towards diversity and representation of Asians in media, we can take action through activism and media creation to represent marginalized voices and to talk back to racist narratives.
We created a three-part YouTube series, and episode one is called Who Are We? What is an ABC? Our second episode is called Racism, Fox Eye Trend, and Snapchat and Instagram Filters. And our third episode is called Asian Representation in Media.
Episode 2 addresses Eurocentric beauty standards in Western media. The first trend we discuss is the fox eye trend, especially for kids as well. So, one of the big makeup trends this year that I noticed was the fox eye makeup trend. So, this trend involved using winged eyeliner, concealer, and false lashes to exaggerate and resemble an elongated look of almond shaped eyes that look like a fox. So there were many professional makeup artists and amateur artists who would post photos of their makeup on Instagram, and they would place their hands on either side of their eyes and stretch their eyes sideways to make it look really elongated. And then people Through our YouTube video, we encourage our viewers to consider the larger implications of this trend in relation to historical racism against Asians, and specifically the teasing and mocking around the shape of Asian eyes. While on the surface it may seem like a harmless makeup trend, these pictures and videos work to normalize racism and cultural appropriation. These images and videos symbolize the rules and conventions of systems of representation, within society, and representation directly ties into how people view other groups of people. Therefore, these images project certain racist ideologies, and we urge viewers to use critical thinking skills to consider that the fox eye trend has historical weight since Asians have a past of being mocked for their eyes. And then this trend comes along and tries to make it a fashion statement. It is also important to remember that this fox eye trend is not something new. Historically, Hollywood has a past of appropriating the shape of Asian eyes. In the early 1930s, makeup artists like Cecile Holland used techniques which are very similar to the fox eye trend that we see today to transform white actors into villainous Asian characters.
And on the contrary to the fox eye trend that glamorizes Asian beauty features, we see that the opposite is happening when it comes to Snapchat and Instagram beauty filters. The goal of many of these filters is to make people appear better, prettier, or more attractive. However, through using a critical lens, we discussed what the concept of better means in terms of how Snapchat and Instagram filters change and represent beauty features, which is problematic. So, for example, a lot of the features of these filters on Instagram and Snapchat, they make the eyes larger, they change eye color completely, make the nose slimmer, lips a lot bigger, skin paler, and all those features, that I'm talking about now, those are not typically ones that Asians have. So, for these filters that we are consistently submersed by work to reinforce Eurocentric beauty standards and eradicate many features that belong to Asians and other minorities. Therefore, the ideology behind these filters makes statements that insinuate that Western features are more desirable and attractive than Asian ones, which is problematic. In our final episode, we focus on why it is so important for individuals to be media literate and to become educated on media topics, as that is the pathway for individuals to become their own content creators and to share their own voices in the media landscape.
In addition to this, we also talk about recent examples of Asian representation, where these projects excelled and where they also fell short. We emphasize that while on screen Asian representation is important, it is equally important to consider representation behind the scenes in the production teams. We see writers, casting crew members, and costume designers who are not Asian but are actively contributing to telling an Asian story. This can be extremely problematic because it doesn't represent authentic Asian voices. So,
by encouraging Asian content creation, we hope that this will lead to a greater diversity of content in the media landscape. Asian content creation within North America will also work to challenge current ideologies and the exclusion of Asians in Western media.
Asians are not typically seen as key players in Western media, but the discussion in the episodes and on our channel aim to encourage our audience to think about why that is and how we as a community can change that. The hope is that eventually in the future, the norm or expectation of the Western media industry is that it will be representative of Asians and other marginalized communities in such a way that media will truly reflect the diversity of people that make up North America.
Encouraging others to become content creators themselves was also something that was a goal of ours, and is why we not only encourage people to develop media skill sets in our videos, but we also created a resources page on our Instagram. The resources page gives people various resources to programs that they can join or take part in to learn about media. We wanted to make sure that not only were we encouraging our viewers to become their own media creators, but to also give people tangible resources that they could actually use. Our channel was also meant to inspire young ABCs and other marginalized and underrepresented groups to strive to educate themselves about the media and to improve their media skills in order to give them the tools to become content creators themselves. And hopefully by them becoming content creators, they would add some diversity to the media scene. In order to support more inclusive representation of marginalized voices in the media, we must use a critical lens when interacting with the media. Developing media literacy skills can help us understand the importance of supporting young media producers, supporting Black, Indigenous, and people of color's media content. We discuss these topics on our Instagram page, but these ideas only scratch the surface.
We encourage you to follow our Instagram page at Growing Up ABC to become part of our community so we're able to continue to explore these topics through dialogue and awareness. The hope was that our channel and brand would act as a space for us to work collectively to create diversified media where ABCs can grow up seeing themselves authentically represented. Thank you.
Thank you.